Guys, it's Boxing Gossip here. Delighted to once again be joined by David the White Rhino Allen. Dave, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you, mate.
Good stuff, good stuff. It's been a while. Well, we actually caught up not too long ago, but feels like a hell of a lot has happened since then, Dave. Last time we spoke, it was just after the Dillian Whyte fight. You were looking to get back on the horse quite quickly, have maybe a couple of fights before Christmas. I know there's a lot been going on at your end. Can you just give us an update on where you're at the minute?
Yeah, I was gearing up for the fight on September the 3rd, Doncaster Dome, and like happened before a few of my previous fights, pulled out, head just not on the job, struggling with a few things, and the boxing ring wasn't the best place for me at the time. But things are good now. Certain things are under control now, and all good to go. So yeah, things are all right. And obviously, that plan is kind of not the plan now. So yeah, things are good, but obviously things haven't gone to plan from what was planned when we last spoke.
Understood. Are you still going to be working with the Ingalls and that setup, Dave?
Yeah, well, at the moment, like I say, I'm no longer working with Steffi Bull at the moment. Well, not at the moment. That's done. I've not been in the gym for five to 6 weeks at the Ingle gym. Not because I've made any plans to go elsewhere. I've just not been in the gym. I've took some time off, sorting other things. So things are kind of all up in the air at the moment. So there's no definitive next move, even though I've been offered fights. So there's no definitive plan of action. But yeah, things are good now. And I am looking, to at least get back in the gym, ready for when a fight, that comes with the right notice. I will take if it is the right fight.
Understood. And you mentioned that you've been offered a fight. I think from social media and everything like that, we're talking David Price, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I understand it, Dave, you were offered the fight a few weeks ago. You accepted it. At that point, David Price didn't take the fight. They then made another offer at more short notice, and Price and seemingly the Sauerlands are under the impression that you're happy to accept it. But, I mean, is that the state of play? Is that right, what's happened there?
Well, I can tell you exactly what has happened.
Yeah.
I've been after the David Price fight for a long time now.
Yeah.
I see him as a very good fighter who's very fragile. I see him as the most beatable fighter that can get you onto the world level platform. So I've been after the fight for a long time. I've been pestering Eddie for a long time to try and get the fight, any fight really. November 26th is the date that I've been talking about. So Monday morning, I received a message. Do you want the David Price fight? 2 weeks on Saturday in Liverpool. I said yes. Agreed money and whatever. The money was dreadful, and that's not a slight on Matchroom or whatever else. That's just money in boxing, I think. I wouldn't get offered more anywhere else. That's just the state of affairs in boxing and what people get paid. But so yeah, I accepted the fight. 2 weeks. I'm tipping 20 stone. I wasn't ready, but with 3 weeks, I thought I can sort some sparring out for the week after next. Get a bit of training in. And I can put it on Price for 4 or 5 rounds, and really give him. I feel like he does punch hard, but I'm very durable, and I've got 4 or 5 rounds in me to really test that chin, and then the very same day, Sky came to me, and I think the fight might have been offered to me Sunday, because Sky got in touch Sunday night, and they put an article out Monday, and then within hours later, Dave Caldwell will come out, there's an article saying that, they're not looking at me, myself, they're looking only at world-class opponents, and I spoke to Dave himself, and he was like, no, the plan is, Parker, Joshua, them kind of opponents, so no, the fight. So at that point, I just assumed it was off, you know. So from Monday to Friday, just, you know, I've not been in the gym, I've not been training, I just carried on, you know, doing what I was doing, not really doing anything. And then Saturday night, just after Price had won, you know, I was offered the fight again. Exactly the same rounds, exactly the same money. Just but a week's less notice. So yeah, I just told him, you know, I'm not a journeyman. 2 weeks notice to fight a like Price. You know, it doesn't really make any sense. I'm not 34 with nowhere to go. I'm 24 with a lot of options, and I will happily fight on November 26th. If I'm needed, you know, if Parker's tied up with Joshua, you know, and Price is struggling for a big name opponent, you know, we can have a little decent domestic clash with myself.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to you. It sounds like, to be honest, you made the right decision if the money was crap and they're only giving you a week or two's notice, because I presume you can't train and spar a few days before the fight anyway, so essentially you're getting, opportunity of less than a week or so to train for a guy like David Price?
Yeah, when I got 3 weeks notice for Dillian Whyte, that's not 3 weeks notice. You know, the last week you don't train. You're winding down. I've not got a weight to make, so I don't train I literally don't do anything for the last 4 days. So
yeah,
2 weeks notice to me is 6 or 7 days training. And where am I going to get sparring for a 6'9" giant in that time? You know, they're not knocking about in the gym down around the corner. So
absolutely,
it just doesn't make sense. You know, I was happy to take the fight. I really wanted the fight. Even last night I was up for it. I wanted to take it. I spoke to a few people and they just said, David, if you take this fight, people are going to think it's just for the money. You're not got any ambition, you know, and that's not the case at all. I'd go and give it my best, but you know, the Dylan fight, I didn't give myself the best opportunity to win, and there's no point doing that 2 times. You know, a loss to David Price, 2 losses in a row. You know, even if it is to 2 potentially world class European level operators, you know, it's not great. And I'm starting to build a decent fan base now and stuff, and when we get back in the ring, you know, it doesn't need to be against these kind of fighters every time.
No, definitely. What was the money sort of comparable to the Dillian Whyte fight? Was it more or less than that?
Yeah, it was less than that. Was
it? Yeah.
And I think Dillian would beat David Price, but David Price is the far more dangerous fighter.
Yeah.
Quite a big puncher. It's a dangerous fight at the best of times, but when I'm 3 or 4 stone overweight and I haven't trained or really done anything apart from 3 days in London with Dillian Whyte, you know, it'd be virtually ridiculous taking it. You know, when I was spoken to about it yesterday, a few people, I kind of thought, yeah, you know what, it's not only a fight where I've not got much chance of winning in the current condition. You know, I'd be a big underdog anyway. But it's also a dangerous fight. You know, we've seen in the last couple of days how dangerous this sport is, and
yes,
and yeah. So David Price is not the kind of man you can go into the ring with if you're not in your best physical condition.
Definitely. I mean, in terms of yourself, Dave, it seems like you've got a number of big offers, but all at short notice. I'm thinking back to Audley Harrison when they offered you. Obviously Dillian, now David Price. Are you kind of in the mind that maybe into 2017 your best bet is to stay in shape continuously and then to try and jump on a few of these opportunities? And is that your most realistic chance, given the fact that you're without a big manager, without a big promoter at present? Is it going to be more difficult for you to sort of build your way up in little 6-rounders, 8-rounders? You know, what's the sort of approach going to be?
I think there's 2 ways that I can go about things. Like you say, I can get in the condition and wait for these opportunities to come up and then, you know, pounce on them. You know, myself in 100% condition, I give myself a brilliant chance of beating David Price. You know, with the experience I gained from the Dillian Whyte fight, plus, you know, being a fighter that I am, you know, I believe to be a good fighter, that experience I've come on again, you know, I think I'm trouble for any heavyweight in the world. So
definitely.
For myself, I think I'm a very marketable fighter. I'm also a heavyweight. I can talk. I can fight. I've proved that now. You know, and I was a massive hit in Leeds. So, you know, I don't really understand why, you know, why promoters not kind of snapping me up and trying to build a young, decent heavyweight up who was very marketable and like I said, was a big hit in Leeds. So, ideally that would be the case. Hopefully someone like Matchroom would come along and pick me up and try and build me into a champion and a big name and a decent draw. But I seem to be being used as an opponent. So that kind of confused me a little bit. But like I said, I sometimes have my own worst enemies. With obviously certain issues, out of my own control. But so yeah, I'm not really sure what kind of avenue I want to go down yet.
No, I can see that. It must be a sort of difficult opportunity, because I guess where the money is in the short term is being the opponent rather than, going in, trying to build yourself up. I guess that's where the money is. Have you ever had sort of conversations with the other guys? I don't know, the likes of Frank Warren, Mick Hennessy, those sort of types of guys, Dave?
No, I was with Dennis Hobson, I was with Steffi Bull, things and things kind of in the for the most part went really well, So, I took the Dillian Whyte fight because I really believe that if I won that, I'd get a deal with Matchroom and things would really pick up. I was thinking it goes to plan. I lost the fight, so I'm here again now. The price fight. I was kind of thinking if I win that, maybe Matchroom will sign me up and I can and then get a good crack at it. But still, like I say, things out of my control. Like I pulled out the September 3rd fight. These things don't work in my favour, but I do see myself as a marketable, good heavyweight. So and that's the reason why I'm not taking the prize fight and just hoping that something good will eventually come up on a more level playing field.
Definitely, no, that makes sense. Are you looking for a new manager, Dave? Are you going to self-manage? How's it going to work?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to self-manage. The Dillian Whyte fight, I kind of made that myself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about the marketability. I'm becoming more popular all the time. And I really do think, when Matchroom go back to Leeds with Josh Warrington, get me on the show. The tickets will go. So yeah, I think that's the plan. I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Like I say, on a more even playing field. Whether that means the right notice for big fights like Price or go back down to the level I believe I'm at right now, which is around the Sexton Cornish level, I don't believe I'm on the Price level, but at the same time I do believe I'd beat him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what did you make of him last night?
It's very difficult to tell because the opponent was terrible. It was embarrassment. It was an embarrassment, really, to watch. It was embarrassing for Price. It was embarrassing for all involved. Perkovic shouldn't even be in a ring looking at him. And it didn't do anything for Price. It's getting a run-out confidence boost. There's nothing confidence boosting about beating a man like that. So, I thought it was embarrassing. But obviously, that's probably no fault of Price or his trainer or his team. That's just the only fighters that they can get at that short notice.
Yeah, well, I wonder who they're going to fight November the 26th now. You never know if there's... maybe if an offer could come around again for yourself, I guess, because it looks like Joshua may fight Parker, potentially. I know they're saying Klitschko, but that may leave Price needing a new opponent. Do you think there's a chance to get in again, but maybe with a few more weeks' notice, perhaps?
Yeah, the way I was looking at it, when there was 3 weeks left before the Dillian Whyte fight, I was told if you don't fight him now, this is your last chance.
Yeah.
He'll not be fighting any more domestic level opponents after this. He's now fighting Ian Lewison next week.
Yeah.
So, I just think if I'd have waited it out, that could have been me next week. I could have had one more fight before and I'd been eligible for the British title, and then it could have been me. So that's another reason why I'm waiting, because, they can say this is your only chance to fight David Price, but, like the Ian Lewison fight proves that maybe if I'd have waited, I could have got the Dillian Whyte fight at a more advantageous point in time for myself. So, my career is not gonna depend on whether I take this David Price fight or not. I'm only 24. I'm very inexperienced, so I don't need to rush into anything.
Definitely. No, I think it's good you've got that long-term outlook, Dave. I think a lot of people would jump at the money, but you're right. It doesn't do anyone any good in the long run just to take it on a week's notice. Definitely. Dave, just going to ask you about some of the other stuff going on in British. Whyte versus Lewison. Obviously, it's been well publicised. You've been in camp with Dillian, sparring ahead of that fight. How's Dillian looking, and how did that all come about?
Yeah, me and Dillian have kept in touch since the fight. We're not best buddies or anything, but we've kept in touch. From the fight. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a very underrated fighter. I think he's a brilliant boxer. As far as heavyweight goes, he's a tremendous boxer. He can move. He's very underrated. And I think if he boxes Ian Lewison, it's going to be a very comfortable win, But if he gets involved with Lewison, it's going to be dangerous because he can definitely punch, and he's a good fighter. So it just came about through talking, and just one thing led to another. Seeing how we're going, what opponents, small talk between fighters as you're doing. And next thing you know, I was out in London helping him prepare, and the spars were good. And he's looking very good. I'm very impressed by him in the spars. He looked like he'd improved again from the fight, and I think the shoulder's improving all the time. I expect him to beat Ian Lewison pretty comfortably if he can get through. If he can box his way safely through the first few rounds.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, definitely. And looking at Anthony Joshua and his situation, obviously he's got a date now in 7-8 weeks. There's a lot of rumours about Vladimir Klitschko. If I'm honest, I can't see that fight being made for love nor money. What's your take on that? Do you think that there is a possibility there, or do you think that's just hype?
It's difficult again, isn't it? I don't see the Joshua Klitschko fight happening this side of 2017. I think we're likely to see Joshua Parker, and that's a fight I definitely do want to see. I'm not sure what's happening with the situation with Tyson Fury being stripped. Has he been stripped yet? I don't know.
He hasn't been stripped yet. I'd certainly get in trouble if I didn't ask you about that, though, Dave. Well, what do you make of that?
I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan. He's a friend, and I spent a lot of time with the Fury family, and I won't say a bad word against them, but it's one of them. I get a lot of stick on social media standing up for him. He does get a lot of stick, and he does say a lot of stupid shit as well. But that's another reason why I love the man. He's himself. But if he is stripped, there's a lot of great heavyweight title fights to be made. If he's not, hopefully he can get back very soon and get the Klitschko rematch out of the way if that is contracted, and crack on with the Joshua and the Wilder fights, because I think he's great for boxing.
Without doubt, definitely. So if Klitschko Joshua did happen this side of Christmas, who would you be picking in that fight?
You've got to go for Klitschko. He's a very experienced fighter. He's a very good fighter. Tyson beat him, and people say he's on the slide, but I would still fancy him to beat Joshua at this stage. I think we're more likely to see Joshua against Parker, and I think that's a great fight. Parker, I think, for 3 or 4 rounds is very fast. He's equally as fast as Joshua, equally as powerful, and equally susceptible to walking onto one as well. I think they're very both wide, very wild and open. I think it'd make for a great fight, and selfishly, if it happens, obviously, to lead David Price to that an opponent, and hopefully they'll look towards me. But yeah, I think Parker Joshua will happen. I think it'll be a great fight for however long it lasts, and I don't think it'll last very long. Yeah,
do you see that as like a first guy who lands sort of fight?
Yeah, I see it as near to 50-50. Parker would beat everyone that Joshua's beat.
Yeah.
And Joshua, I think, would beat everyone Parker's beat, but Parker definitely has a better resume by far.
Do you think Parker beats Whyte? You can no comment that one if it's awkward.
I would make Parker a definite favourite in the fight. If it's made.
Yeah.
From what we've seen of both in the ring, you would definitely fancy Parker. Parker would be a huge favourite, of course he would. But I really think that Dillian is dangerously underrated, and he's got a lot more to give. So I would see it close to a 50-50, but obviously on paper, from what we've seen, you have to make Parker a big favourite.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And what about David Haye? Obviously, he's been out of the ring for some time. Last time we spoke, he'd actually just contacted you and reached out to you on Twitter to say congrats on the Dillian Whyte fight. So, have you had any more chat with David Haye? What do you think's going on with him?
I'm not sure what's going on. He took my number and was going to get in touch about sparring. So, I've not heard from him yet. I'm sure. I don't think there is a fight lined up yet, because I do expect the call when a fight it looks like it's being near to make. So I don't think we're any nearer to any news about David Haye.
He's obviously something in the works, isn't there? I guess
I think the Shannon Briggs fight. I think he wanted the Shannon Briggs fight. I think Shannon Briggs obviously wanted it, but I don't think Sky wanted it, and I don't think Dave haven't got the money to pay for a David Haye Shannon Briggs fight. And I don't think Sky are interested.
Yeah, I've heard Shannon Briggs is he's not after a small payday, and I guess it's potentially a last fight for him, so he's going to be an expensive guy to get in. Moving back to yourself, Dave, and I won't keep you much longer because I know you're a busy man, but we've talked David Price. Obviously, that's your preferred option. If that fight weren't to happen for whatever reason, who else would be sort of on your horizons for a potential next opponent? What else sort of appeals to yourself?
The November 26th show is something I'm definitely looking to be on. It's an Anthony Joshua show. The platform is huge. That's where all fighters should want to be. I get a lot of stick sometimes from people saying you're only English title level. You're domestic level. You're this and that. I'll say, all right, fair enough. That's fair enough. But my profile is higher than your average 11 fight novice. And hopefully people do want to see me on that show, and I can get on there. Like I said, if it's got to be against a Price or maybe even like a Shannon Briggs or a Joel Millie, someone where I'd be a big underdog, with the right notice, I'm happy to fight anybody. I really am happy to fight anyone whatsoever. And I'm also happy to fight Sam Sexton or whoever else in the that's rated in and around where I am as well. I'm open to any fight. So. Obviously, I prefer the big ones. The big fights are nice to be involved in. You do get paid a little bit more. But yeah, I'm open to any fight. So it's just a case of waiting. I did want to take time out. I was planning to take time out with things, but things are good right now. I'm in a good mental place, and money doesn't grow on trees, does it? So I've got to go out there and fight soon enough. Understood.
Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure as always catching up with you, mate. It's always really good to speak, and I'd love it if we could get you back on when we obviously have your next fight confirmed and can discuss that in more detail at the time.
Yes, 100%. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you.
Really appreciate it, Dave. Have a good evening, mate. All the best.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Cheers, Dave. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.